like we get away from each other if the conflict consists or we have more conflict. So a conflict has two parts. The first part is the content of the conflict, or the content or the subject, the topic, what we are fighting about, right? This is the core of the content. So let's say you are fighting about money. We are fighting about kids. We are fighting about whatever. This is the content of the conflict. The second part is the process, how we process this conflict, how we communicate about the conflict. Because usually we forget about the content, and our process to solve this issue is the problem. This is the real problem, how we handle the conflict. It's not about the money. It's about how we interact with each other. Let's take an example. Let's say Roberto and Mira. I'll pick on you because I know you guys. So Roberto and Mira. Roberto get and report. Let's say Roberto, like, he's responsible for the finance in the marriage, and he found that at the end of the month there is a huge credit card amount that Mira used the credit card. So it's huge. And first thing that as soon as she came back, he told her, "What did you do? This is out of our budget. Where were your mind when you spend all this money? You know that we are in this situation and we can't afford this money. You always do that." Then what will happen? How Mira will respond? What do you guys expect? Yeah. It will be aggressive. Yeah, it will. She will tell him, "Inta malak. This is my money. It's okay. Why you are attacking me? I'm not the only one." So you see what happened here? We forgot about the money issue. We are now attacking each other. This is the process that we make the problem about the process, not about the content. And that's what creates the negative emotion we have. So it's the content and the process. Content could be anything, and this is the process between both of us. How we interact, how each one defend his position, how each one getting defensive. And something we need to know here, because we will use this in the second lecture. There is always a sender and a receiver in our relationship. So in the example I said between Roberto and Mira, who is the sender here? Roberto, because what? Because he started the issue. He's the one raised the problem. He started talking to her. And she is the receiver because she received this comment or criticized, and she started replying. Roberto. Yes, but we are talking about communication. So who started? The sender and the receiver. تفضل. She is the receiver, but if he started nicely, and this is a great question, we will talk about that. If she defended still, she went defensive, still she's the receiver, but she didn't handle that well. But still, he's the sender and she's the receiver. And then what happened after that, when we go around, and we'll see that in the second session, that the sender becomes the receiver and the receiver becomes the sender. Yes, it goes around, and we switch roles. And we will practice that actually at the workshop. Okay, why we fight? Yeah, so I'm not asking what we fight about. I'm asking what is the reasons we fight. We want to be right. Different point of view. Sorry? Solve the problem? Express ourselves? Yeah, that's great. So usually there is a lot of things why we fight, but it mainly comes to like three main or four main things that we fight because of them. First, because we are different, right? We have different personality. We are different. We are two different brains, right? He has like his history. He was raised up in certain ways. He has his preferences. He has his whatever he likes. Some stuff he likes, some stuff he doesn't like. He has his personality. He has his friends. And she is totally different. So it makes sense that everyone has different perspective, right? So we need to put that in mind because it makes sense that it is normal that two people come together to have a conflict. Second thing is major life changes. Like what? No, we are talking after الجواز. Like kids. Getting a baby is one of the most problem-causing event that happened to couple. The second baby? Yeah, I think the first baby is the most difficult situation because what happens? See this scenario. We are couples. We don't have any babies, so we just married. We are happy. We are still in the honeymoon phase. Everything is going okay. She takes care of me and I take care of her. It's okay, right? If we have a conflict, it's about both of us only. But what happens when we get the first baby? Thing dramatically changes, even if you don't realize that. The mother usually tends to take care of the baby and reduce her attention to the husband. So usually mothers or wives, they change, I believe they change their identity from being a wife to being a mother. And they forgot sometime, not all of us, of course, most of us, most of women, forget that we have still a role as a wife. But for some reason, we switch that because we think, and it's understandable because we want to take care of the kid, right? It's a baby, I need to take care of him or her. I have to put, it's a lot of effort and it is new for me, I don't know what to do. So a lot of effort, a lot of stress, so I take care more about the baby. So major life event, especially getting a baby, that's affect us hugely. So we need to take care about that. And what can we do is, actually the husband here has a huge role. It is not only the mother that switch her identity, but the father here should understand that she's going through a lot of change and stress, and he needs to be aware of that. He needs to give more support and more care to her. Because sometimes what happened, the husband, like, okay, she's busy with the kid, he doesn't feel like I'm not the best child anymore, there is another kid that takes the attention from me, so, and start withdrawing. Or he feel like, okay, my role here is to financially support the family. And we start getting apart. So this is a really important point of our life when we get kids. Other major life changes like financial situation, changing jobs, moving, having some like in-laws living with us, all of these like major life events that affect us and could create a lot of conflicts between us. Last thing is stress. Definitely stress. If you are stressed out, you have more probability that you will have a conflict and fight with each other. Imagine that, okay, we are relaxed, we don't have any problem, which will never happen, but imagine that you will have less probability that you will fight. But life now is very stressful. Everyone come back from home, come back home from work, husband and wife, everyone is tired, they are stressed out with the boss, with the work, with whatever they are doing all the day, and then they come home, everyone is stressed out, and they can't handle any small thing, any small like friction will start a conflict. Because we are tired, we are stressed out, we have a lot of things going outside of our life and affect us. So the question now is, we have all this. There is a very important factor here that affects how we handle the conflict, knowing all what is happening around us. It is how you see a conflict. What is your conflict style? What is your conflict culture? Because each one of us handle conflict in different ways, right? So we have different conflict styles. What we call your emotional language, how we speak conflict. So there are 3 conflict styles, and consider that as spectrum, right? It is not like 1, 2, 3. It is like spectrum. So you could be in the middle between 1 and 2, 2 and 3. Everyone is different, of course. So the first style, conflict style, is the avoidant couples. Avoidant couples. And we will discuss that in more details. I will show them to you, and we'll discuss that in more details. Second couple are the validating couples. And third are the anxious couples. So you see the spectrum. There is the totally avoidant, they avoid the conflict, and there are the anxious, that they want to solve the problem now. And each one is want to solve the problem now. And there is in between. So let's start with the avoidant couples. So the avoidant couples is at the end of the spectrum. They try to avoid, they shy away from discussing the conflict. And here I'm speaking about the couple, both of them. So there are some couples that, okay, we don't want to go that deep. We will avoid the problem. We know there is a conflict, but we don't like to talk about that. Let's not waste our time in talking about conflict. Even I feel sometimes like I don't like that, but I will avoid, to avoid getting deep and getting heated or whatever. Not avoiding each other, they're avoiding the conflict. So she's asking if that the worst case scenario. I'm exaggerating, of course, because I'm saying this is extreme avoidant. But they are avoiding the problem. So they are avoiding not each other, they're avoiding to discuss the problem. If that makes sense. We will discuss that. Yes. Right. We will discuss that. So now I'm talking about the couple. Both of them are avoidant. So both of them, they agree to disagree. Okay, he wants to do that. Okay, I don't like that, but it's okay. I will not open this topic. I will suffer in myself, or I will not pay attention to that, and I will push to leave. I will not open this topic. Like let's say, he doesn't help in the house chores. He doesn't help. And I asked him, like he didn't, but after that, okay, we'll not ask each other, we'll avoid that. We will move on and avoid any conflict, because we don't want to go deep and discuss that. So it is like a little bit ignoring the problem. The second is the validating. Validating they are not afraid to discuss the critical issues. They want to find a solution. They want to discuss their emotions. When they are having a conflict, they want to discuss that. They need to resolve the issue. They want to grow. So they can discuss that with each other. They can control their tone. When they talk with each other, they can control that. They don't fight. They try to reach a solution. Even if there is a conflict, there is a conflict, and it is annoying for each of one of them, but they are validating. They want to find a solution. And on the other spectrum is the anxious couple. That is the heated one, who are angry, who are, I want to solve the problem now. So let's say Michael and Sarah. Michael has a problem or did something. Sarah wants to, okay, I want to solve this now. Michael tell her, okay, let me rest. I'm tired or I'm overloaded or something. I need to take a rest. No, we need to talk this now. We need to solve it now. But this maybe issue will not be solved now. So she keep pushing. And if both of them are the same, he will keep pushing the same. So it is like fighting. It is like very heated talk. What if, that's your question, what if there is a mismatch? And this is the usual case. So usually we are mismatched. We have different conflict style. I could be anxious, my wife could be avoidant, right? Or validator avoidant or whatever. Usually whenever there is a validator in the relationship, it's much easier because the validator can a little bit absorb a little bit the conflict. But most probably it's avoidant, anxious. And guess what? Who usually the avoidant and who usually the anxious? Good. Yeah. ABC marriage, that's good. Exactly, you see? That is most probably, like usually the guy is the withdrawal, the avoidant. كبر دماغك, it's okay. They call it, usually in conflict they call it, there is two sides, the maximizer and the minimizer. One maximizes the problem, the other one, oh, it doesn't matter. That's no problem at all. He doesn't see the problem, the minimizer. And usually the wife is like anxious. She wants to solve the problem. She needs validation. She needs something. And the husband tries to withdraw or to avoid. Isaiah, please. Great. That's a great question. Can we change our style? Definitely, we can change. That's why we are here today, to change our style. That's really why you are here.
So for this scenario, the best scenario to have the both as a validator?
Yes. So the better scenario here. ايه اللي بيحصل ورا؟ في anxious situation ورا. في anxious. Yeah. So a good question also is if we can change and what is the best scenario, case scenario? Of course, the best case scenario is to be validator, and validator, we will discuss this, I will discuss this today also. To be a validator and to understand each other and how to handle that. This is the main idea, this is the main goal of this whole day, is to be a validator, to understand each other and to handle the conflict. Of course, we can change our style by learning, by attending something like this, by listening to each other. We can change our style, definitely. Okay, what we fight about? What do you guys think? Sarah, please. Parenting styles, perfect. Yeah, what else? Finance. Chores. Guess what? I found this study. It is, of course, this is like America here, and it's a little bit, maybe doesn't apply 100% on us, but does it? Yes. So almost 50% about the chores and responsibility. And money, children, it's going, sex, spending, in-laws, affection, and so on. So there is a lot of things. Is it interesting? أكبر واحدة, the first one is chores and responsibility. Yes. It doesn't have to apply to you guys because this is like, it is done by the Family Studies Institute. And yeah, and this is, by the way, for people with kindergarten age kids. So, and it will be different for people without kids or having older kids. So they take a sample that they have kinder age children, and yes. Yeah, definitely. But you see, like they do the research or something, you don't control everything. That's why I'm telling it may not apply. It's just an idea to get an idea about what people fighting about. But let's think about this. It is deeper than that. These are a lot of like good reason to fight, but usually we fight for more deep reason than this. So if that's what we want to go deeper today, because we all fight about this stuff, right? And if we have deeper look about what we fight about, we may understand. I'll give you an example, because we can fight about anything, a lot of even stupid things. One couple I see in therapy, one time they told me they discussed a conflict. The conflict about what? About how many blankets they should be covered when they are sleeping. مثلا. So she wants like 3 blankets, he wants 2 blankets only. You see? And one time they fought about the sandwich they are eating about in lunch. What kind of sandwich? So they are fighting about very trivial issues, right? So it is deeper than that. They see it, okay, we are fighting about the sandwich, but no, it is deeper. There is underneath problem. Have you ever heard about the term, the problem underneath the problem? There is deeper thing. So first thing is values. We fight about values. We have different values here. Everyone has different values, like what? Like work, like love, like family. What family means to me may different than what family means to you. What work means to me may different than what work means to you. For me, maybe my work is my life, my passion. I have to work. I have to spend all my time, my energy at work. I get promoted. I get raised. This is my success. But maybe for the other partner, work is a way to get money and to live. And I need to live my life in different area. It is just a way to earn money. These make conflicts. These create conflicts between couples. We have different value. About children, how we raise children. About family. So, second one is unmet needs. We have needs that is deep down unmet between each other. So I have a need, let's say, to feel trust, to feel safe in this house. But my husband doesn't provide that. My husband is busy with other stuff. So my needs here are not met. And guess what? That appear in all the conflict. It appear in fighting about the sandwich, about the blanket, about the dog. These are the underneath problem. We have unmet expectation or unmet values. Third thing is hidden dreams. We have dreams. Each one has dreams in his life that he wants to achieve. I want to be something. I wanted from my child to reach something. And no one knows about that. Even my husband doesn't know, or my wife doesn't know. So if we didn't share these dreams, it will create conflict, because these drive how I behave in this family, in this house. So we need to talk about that. Okay, I'm not sure why this is empty. Okay. Yeah. They put what? Dad, husband. Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That is really good. The important thing is to be really that. Because I feel like some people, there is some vibe on the internet or LinkedIn or whatever, and we take the trend. Oh, that's cool, I'll put dad as my title. But is he a really dad? And I appreciate that, this is a really good point. But we need to be really, my first role in life to be a dad, or actually before being a dad, being a husband. Because this is a very important thing. People try to raise their kids in a good way and while they don't have a good connection with their partner, their spouse. You can't do that. You can't. If you don't have a good connection with your spouse, definitely this will affect your whole family, will affect your kids. So usually people come to ask about how could we raise our kids? Our kids are so and so and doing this behavior. Well, see how you guys both treat each other. You need to fix your relationship first, and then this will be much easier. Anyway, so talking about the unmet values and the deeper relationship, because we are on time, so there is one important factor here that affect our conflicts. It is usually in any conflict, big conflict, it is a neglected negative emotion of our partner. There is negative emotion that being neglected. What does that mean? It means my wife she feel angry, she feel frustrated, but I neglected that. I didn't open that. I didn't handle that situation correctly. So this neglected emotion, that's what created the problem. And most of the time, we don't see that. Or if my husband, like, he's stressed out, he's overwhelmed, he has something huge going in his life or his job or whatever, and the wife didn't see that, this creates the problem. Or if there is a complaint about something, the wife has a complaint about something, about behavior, but I neglected that, I don't care, or have a lot of other things to care about, this creates the problem. And guess what? Who usually neglect? Who usually neglect, you guys? Who is mostly emotionally intelligent in the relationship between husband and wife? Wife. That's true, actually. So usually wives or women are more emotionally, our brain, our nature, actually God created, we were created like this way. If you think about it, a woman will be a mother, right? And she will deal with this small thing called a kid. He doesn't talk even. So how can she know the emotion of this kid, even he doesn't talk? So women are created with more emotional intelligence that she can understand the emotion of this kid even without talking. For example, like you can find a mother who tell you, okay, he's crying, my baby's crying because he has like gas or his teeth. When you ask the father, no, that's nothing, he's just crying. So maybe the guy doesn't get that. He's just crying, that's normal cry. But the mother mostly like more tuned toward the emotion of her kid. لا يعني make it clear please.
قصدها على ان women created ان هم tuned up towards emotion that they should
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yes, I agree with you. So my point, I agree with you. This is my point actually. Are more work on the men to be emotionally intelligent than the woman. I personally believe if the husband is more emotionally intelligent, we would avoid a lot of problem in the marriage. Still, we will have some conflict, but we can avoid a lot of problem and conflict in the marriage. Why is that? Because women are already emotionally tuned, or she put more emphasis on her emotions. Usually the man doesn't put that much effort or doesn't understand that or look at the surface. Mostly men are more logic. I don't want here to generalize, and of course there is a lot of exceptions, but it is common, yes, that we tend to think more logically, women think more emotionally, so logically, emotionally. تفضل. Yes. That's validation, and this is, we'll talk about this in the next section, actually. That's a really good point. So that's what is called validation. And we will discuss that more in the second session. So that's a good point. So the point here, because we have to end now, the point here is that we need to get a little bit emotionally aware. We need to tune to each other emotions. It is all about emotion, mostly. Not all, just not to generalize again. Mostly about the emotion. If we handle our emotions good, that will help us a lot. How to be emotionally mature or emotionally intelligent? How can we do that? The best way is learn how to pause. How to pause. Pause. When you remember the sender and receiver, when the sender talk or say something, it's your wife, try to pause. Don't react immediately. Take a pause, think, digest that, and reply in the best way. A pause is very important if we want to solve our conflicts. I will give you one last example and I will end here. Let's say a man is coming from work, he's very frustrated, he's tired, overwhelmed, and his wife came before him to the house. She's also stressed out, tired. There are the kids, came back, she's preparing the food, and he just arrived. He came in, as soon he came, he put the keys on the table. His wife immediately told him, again, you put the keys on the table. There is the key hooks. That's why, what they call it, key hooks. That's where we put the key. I told you that 100 times. The guy, if like this is a normal situation, most of us will reply, what are you doing? What are you saying? I just came out. You don't know how was my day. I was tired. You care about this and that, but you don't care about me. Then she will again respond because she will feel frustrated. And you don't know about me. I have so and so these days. I have the kids. And we will keep continue, right? That's how a problem or a conflict arises. But an emotional, intelligent person, as soon as she says that, he will pause. Imagine you have a remote control, you paused life, pause. Everything stops. Yeah, I'm finishing. So everything stops, and it becomes only you and your wife. So you pause what? You pause life, you pause TV, you pause your phone, you don't care about anything, you care only about your wife. And guess what? As soon she says to you, why did you do that? I told you 100 times not to put the keys here. He click, pause, and go to his wife, maybe hug her, hold her hands. I see that you are stressed. Something of that. Yes, it's Allah. I know it is some cheesy, and most of men think that is cheesy, or I can't do that. I can't talk about emotions, but that is what creates the problem. We don't want to talk about emotion. Our values, our raising up, our parents taught us that this is, no, you shouldn't. You are a man. You should not be doing this. But that is not true. If you want to avoid conflict, if you want to have a good marriage, a good relationship, a good family, you need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to take care of your wife. You need to take care of your husband. So I will end here, and the second session we will take the steps. We will take the steps to how resolve a conflict. Let's say we already have the conflict, how to resolve that. We'll take 10 minutes break, and we will come at 2:10. 1:10, sorry, 1:10. 1:10. Thank you, guys.